The purpose of this project is to find out people's responses on where freedom comes from. And this is going to be the ultimate question that people, I assume, will have a very tough time with. And then later on, educate them where freedom lies. And even though we believe that where freedom comes from is God, what they're going to say, well, we'll find out.
Hey everyone, this is Prince Gideon right here over in East Stroudsburg University. We're gonna go ask some questions. Let's check it out. Let's go. What's your names?
Kevin.
Marcel.
Kevin.
What's your name?
Tamia.
Mark.
Are you a student here?
Yes, I'm a senior in communications.
A student, you know.
Just a student.
Yeah, trying to get through the college, you know.
I just currently joined the ESU men's rugby team.
I'm gonna ask you a very deep, philosophical, moral, ethical question. Are you guys cool with that?
Right. Yes.
What is freedom?
Fruit is freedom. Wow.
That's a hard question.
Well, what do you mean, like, what is freedom?
I mean, I guess just being here at school with the freedom and.
So I'm not in school right now. I graduated. Does that mean I'm not free?
No, you're definitely free.
Having the options to go where you want, do what you want, you know, be who you want to be.
Freedom should be described as you being able to think for yourself, but on a like moral and strongly good ethical level. Being able to have self-control over your own decisions and being able to do good for yourself, but not hurting others in the process.
You have your freedom here in the United States. You can do what you need to do. I mean, you have your priorities to do, but there's obviously a certain limit to each thing, and you could do pretty much what you have to do to make things right.
As long as it doesn't end up damaging or hurting anybody else, you should be allowed to do what you want. But the second it starts actually impeding on someone else, like hurting anybody else, as long as I can swing my hand around as hard as I possibly want, but the second I start hitting people in the face, that's when my freedom starts impeding on others. That means I have to stop.
So do you know the Bill of Rights?
Yes.
What's 1 through 4? Help me out, girl.
First is freedom of speech. Second is to bear arms.
You mean like all the freedoms, like the freedoms to
Go on.
do stuff?
Freedom to do stuff? Okay, well, I hope so.
Second one, right to own a gun.
Freedom of the press, right? Freedom of religion.
The first one is the freedom of speech, religion, and stand out of press.
Freedom of speech. Freedom to assemble. Freedom to bear arms.
Second one, right to bear arms.
Do you know 4?
Not off the top of my head.
The fourth is no illegal search and seizure by police officers.
Right. So you know what's really interesting about the 4th Amendment, right? It's right, illegal search and seizures. That's of intruding into your property, right? There shouldn't. What do you think ultimately is your property that you own ever since you were born?
Like something that I received from someone, like a gift or something.
Wow, actually, it kind of is a gift.
My name.
Whatever I can buy with my own income.
No, you can't buy it. You already have it. You were born with it. What do you have?
I feel like this is a trivia question.
Man, probably like my first bike.
You're kind of living it right now.
Clothes.
Nope.
Education.
Nope. You weren't born with education.
House.
Nope. Something that you're born with, that you automatically own.
I guess my hair.
I'll say myself, like my body. Like if a cop were to come up and frisk me under suspicion without a warrant, no, that's invading my space. Like my body, myself is my property since the day I was born.
You've been living in it every single day of your life. Walking and running and talking with it. Your body, right?
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah.
It's your property. You already have it.
Myself? I don't know.
Right, your body. Your body, right? This is the primary thing that you own, right? And it is a gift. Actually, it kind of is a gift, right? Without your mom and dad, you wouldn't be born, right?
True. Correct, very correct.
Do you think it's moral for government to own your body?
No.
Do you think government should own your mind, right? Freedom of religion, you could believe whatever you want in your head. Do you think government should own that?
I don't think they should, but I think they do.
Do you think government should own your speech? As long as you don't threaten anyone.
No.
If there's anyone that wants to initiate force onto you unjustly, do you think it's right to protect yourself?
Yes.
Right. Do you think this comes from government, or it's or do you think this freedom lies elsewhere? Where does freedom come from?
I don't know. That's tough.
I feel like most of them are mental.
Mental.
Yeah.
So is it just subjective, just in your own head, just in some individual's head? That's where freedom lies.
In that sense, kind of, yeah.
I think it comes from trial and error. I think we believe this, and we've been taught that this is a part of us, that we have these freedoms. But I also think it comes from even before democratic governments, that this is something that people fight back.
Something that would be more abstract, but at the same time, we all think differently as human beings, so everyone has their own different perception on what freedom is.
You could always say with the government and stuff like that, or you could just simply religion, like with God.
Even in religion, it's like, it's just there.
But so ultimately, it just comes from people.
Yes.
That's where freedom lies.
Yes.
It's interesting. You also brought up God. So would you actually think God may be the one that actually endows freedom onto each individual?
Yeah, I definitely feel like God is a big factor, especially with no matter who you are, where you live, or where you're from. I mean, I feel like God just has a big part of who you are and what you're going to become.
Freedom is something that we are naturally born with. Rights shouldn't be taken away from us just because of certain situations.
Before we had any type of government structures and whatnot, people just survived on their own and did whatever they wanted. Think of like the cavemen. They went out into the things with their little bats and whatnot. They could do whatever they want.
So there's no actual answer towards what freedom is, because Kevin can think differently, Marcel can think differently, and I can have a whole different definition on freedom. It's more of a societal construct.
I think I have the right to just kill young children. Do you think and that's how I interpret freedom. Do you think that's actually freedom?
I don't think that's freedom so much as like taking away someone else's freedom. Like if you kill someone else, you're just taking away like their right to live and their right to like grow up to be who they wanted to be.
You can't just go and start enforcing your own will upon others when they don't consent, when they don't.
But if it's just an individual's perspective, then what's wrong about that? If it's just an individual's perspective.
There's the thing. If it's that one individual's perspective and he starts forcing himself upon another individual, that goes back to what I said originally. As long as you aren't harming anyone, then that's fine. But that is harming someone.
But we're just defining my own perspective of freedom and my own perspective of morality, right?
Truth lies with people, but with people's inner self. So if you know that that's wrong, it's not truth lies with the masses, like not the mass majority of people, but with the individual.
I believe that it's okay to initiate harm onto someone else. Does that make it truthful? For me, it's in my inner being.
We're gonna back away now, no.
No.
That is your truth, yes.
That's my so it's my subjective truth.
Does that mean that it's right? No. If you like to harm people, then yes, you like to harm people.
So, but it doesn't make it right. So then, where does this right come from? If it's not coming from the individual, right? Then where does ultimately this right come from?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know.
If somebody physically harmed you, would you feel that that was right, that person did that to you?
So it just depends on my individual being. So what if I thought, yes, it's actually okay that this system exists. It's okay for people to initiate harm on me. Then does that make it all right?
That's interesting. You got me there.
Truth and objective morality lies within a democracy of people over time as an evolution of consciousness? Or is there an actual truth and moral objectivity that has been already there? It's just that humanity in and of itself is reaching to that point.
No, your first suggestion is completely correct.
Truth isn't definitive, and I feel like this is where your freedom, of individual freedom, kind of has to become a cooperative thing. When you think about it, in a democracy, it's the majority of the people, and if they want something, then that's what they'll get.
If the majority of people believe it, then that's how freedom is defined by the majority of people.
Yeah, I think so.
So for democracy, the majority of people, I want slavery, and that's okay with the majority of people. Therefore, that's what's defined as right over a minority of people. In the South, when there was slavery involved, right? There was a majority of people that agreed, yes, slavery should exist. But so do you define that being right then?
I don't think that's right.
Theoretically, that would be the truth for whatever civilization you're in at that time, if you know what I mean. And that was a truth back then.
During the time, I'm sure they believed 100%, oh, well, considering these aren't people, and it's frowned upon now, back then, that the truth was you could own people and it would be totally okay.
Where does this say our rights and freedoms come from in the Bill of Rights?
No, but I bet you're gonna tell me.
Isn't it we the people?
No. Again, where does freedom come from if it's not just subjective in our own minds, right?
Like it was all a societal contract.
No. It says it right. Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Am I wrong?
It says creator.
Creator.
Do you think that makes sense to you? How does that make sense to you?
I don't know. I was just saying yes so you could tell me.
Oh, is that how it goes? When you think it makes sense if it comes from God?
I don't. In that sense, I don't believe in God because, like, of all the atrocities that have happened in the world.
Point is, I think this is really important. The thing is, if we just each on our own define what morality is, then actually we're subject to slavery. If there's many sources, right? I could be one source, you could be one source. This lovely lady here, Marianne, could be one source. We could all define some certain type of morality, but then it could end up becoming slavery. If we have objective morality and we align with that, right? If we could, if our consciousness as human beings have an evolution to then connect with that objective morality, then just like in the physical realm, you could say with the earth, we thought that in our subjective minds, we believe, oh yes, the earth is in the center of the universe. But then in reality, right, the truth was, then the truth has always been there, that the earth wasn't in the center of the universe, right? And we found that out for ourselves. So likewise, you could say in the internal aspect, right, we're evolving as human beings to understand rights and freedoms, but eventually we're gonna align with that objective morality. So when you agree in a philosophical, and I'm not saying scientific, but a philosophical, moral, ethical sense that morality, truth, morality, and freedom actually has to come from one source.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Does that make sense? Are you being honest?
I feel as though you're onto something.
Okay.
You might be right.
Because, like, when you get so many sources coming together, it's like all jumbled up and you don't know which way to go or like what to really believe.
It makes more sense that ultimately has to lie within one source, because rights and wrongs and truth, it can't contradict itself, and it can only be interpreted by one source.
oh yes, I'm loving it. You're talking to a philosophy major right now, so yes,
Do you agree with that?
yes, I do.
Do you think this is a pretty new perspective for you? That you could agree or to I don't know, appreciate this new perspective?
I think I can.
Yes, it really has. But like, I'm sorry, like I've trying to like converse, but like I'm very internal. So like, a few hours from now, I'll have like a whole like, yeah. But right now, I'm just like, okay.
Brings a new perspective that I don't think I've actually evaluated yet. But the thing is, if I'm just hearing this. I don't have an opinion on this yet. Then again, I'm not sure 100% if I agree with your idea, but at the same time, this is making me actually think about what I believe, because what we did kind of poked a couple holes in what my ideology is, what my beliefs are in a lot of things. So, yeah, this is interesting.
So we had a good time over here at ESU, where people became very enlightened, people became very aware, and really appreciate the idea of freedom and where freedom comes from. I, Prince Gideon of the King's Report, signing off.